Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Elle and today I wanted to talk through my fitness journey of how I took my body from this to this in 8 weeks. So I want to go through exactly what I ate, exactly how I trained, how much I trained, how much I ate, and what my actual results were at the end of the 8 weeks. So back in July in 2019, I just basically made a decision to become fit and lose some weight and become toned. I never was someone who was super overweight or even overweight, I don't think, but I never have liked my body. I never felt comfortable in swimwear. I've never, looked at myself and thought, oh, I really like how I look, or I really like what my body is. So that was kind of something at, the end of my 20s that I really wanted to feel. And I think as I got older, I just kept on putting more and more weight on. And I got to a point where I was fed up and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I haven't stuck at something ever. I've never been active, and I'm just gonna go full head first into doing fitness and just see where it goes and see what my potential is. And once I did that, I've never looked back, and I am so happy that I started that because now I just feel so much better. I look so much better. I'm so much happier, and I have no regrets in doing this whole fitness journey. So let's jump straight in. I want to share everything with you that I did, and hopefully it helps you guys or someone start their own fitness journey and continue doing fitness. So let's jump in. So let's start off with the thing that I changed the most, which was exercise. I was never someone who exercised or was sporty. Throughout school, I never did sports. I would skip the sports carnival. That's how much I hated exercise. I literally was just like this little creative kid who played music and was homeschooled up until year 7. So literally, this is my first experience of exercise. So when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, which I talk a bit about in my other video that I did, I'll link that above just so you can go watch that, because that's all about how to start a journey, and that might give you some tips and stuff. There's a fly. But basically I decided that I wanted to do F45. I had tried it for a week and loved it, and I thought, this is really different. This is something that I think I can stick to. And they had an 8-week challenge. So I was like, you know what? I've got nothing to lose but time. The time's gonna go past anyway, whether I start exercising or not. And I'd rather start and then be super happy with myself that I actually did 8 weeks of exercise versus just letting the time go past anyway and not have done the exercise. I jumped straight into the F45 challenge. Basically at F45 they do a mixture of high intensity interval training, but they do cardio and resistance. So they basically change the days of when you do cardio and when you do resistance, and it's mixed up. So that's why they have such great results with weight loss. So I set out to do the 8 weeks and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I'm gonna do every single morning at 7 a.m. and just stick to it for the 8 weeks and see what happens. If I like it and stay on, then that would be awesome, but I'm not gonna put the pressure on myself to go past the 8 weeks if I don't like it. Or I just kind of was like a little bit, I don't know, apprehensive to sign up to 6 months. So the 8 weeks seems like a doable thing for me. So as soon as I started going, I just basically jumped straight in and loved the exercise, which was so foreign to me. I just decided to do 5 days a week and do Monday to Friday, and then have Saturday and Sunday as rest days or as my kind of like out and about exercise. That was just like daily activeness. And I also joined my first basketball team because my friends needed a girl to join the basketball team, and I was like, oh, all right, that'll be fun. Let's just do it. So on Sundays I had my little basketball game that I do on top of my F45. So I went straight all in from doing nothing to kind of like everything, and really quickly I saw the biggest changes in my body. I want to actually insert week to week what my body looks like, just so you get a really good idea of how it changes week to week, because it's not this like drastic thing where you're going to be doing it for 2 weeks and then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm like, 10 kilos less. That's not what happens, but you can see in the progress photos just how quickly that was changing, and that was really, really cool to see. So while I was doing my high intensity F45 5 days a week, I then changed up my eating a fair bit, but it wasn't too far from what I was doing already. I already was not having sugar and not having quite low carbs, but I would cheat, pretty much every week and have, whatever I wanted. So like burgers, or I'd have like pizza or pasta or whatever. And for this 8 weeks, I was so strict. I didn't cheat. Oh, I did cheat. I cheated once in the whole 8 weeks with one meal. So I was super, super strict. I did the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting, and that worked so well for me so quickly, and I just saw the fat like drop off my body. So because I was doing intermittent fasting as well with it, I didn't have my breakfast, and then I would have a pretty big lunch and a pretty big dinner, and that's all I would eat. So I'd just have 2 meals a day. And for my lunch, I'd have like scrambled eggs, bacon and avocado, and spinach or like rocket salad. And then at night I would have like chicken and broccoli and avocado again, and olive oil and rocket, maybe like almonds or walnuts. I used to like put that on my meals with dinner. And that was pretty consistently my meals. I just switch up between having like another high fat meal, but I'd keep it pretty healthy. I wasn't ever someone who did an unhealthy keto, which I talk about in my last video as well. As far as portions goes, I didn't really cut my portions down. I didn't count calories. I just kept everything sort of intuitive, where I would look at the size of the meal and just go like, okay, I'm full now. But I didn't want to go crazy with restricting my calories, just because like I was doing so much exercise and I didn't really want to drop my food down too much, even though I probably would have lost more weight if I did that, but I just didn't want to do it the super quick way. So I obviously did keto, and then I also did intermittent fasting. So I wouldn't eat until 12 o'clock. That's when I'd start eating. Sometimes it would be 11, just depends on how hungry I was or how much I was craving a coffee, because you can't have milk, and I didn't want to have long blacks because they're gross. So I was like, I have to have a coffee at 11, or if I could hold out to 12, I'd do it. So I'd start then, and then I would finish eating at about 7, and 8 being kind of like absolute, I can't go past 8 o'clock at night. So I had a good 8 hours of eating, and then 16 hours of fasting, which is just your general generic intermittent fasting, and that's kind of like the starting point that most people start with. That worked so well for me. I definitely noticed big changes in my body with that as well, because I think for the first 3 weeks I wasn't fasting, and then as soon as I started fasting, I really just noticed a big jump in how slim I felt and how toned I was getting. So that's something that really helped me. And if you've been thinking about doing intermittent fasting, definitely give it a go. It's pretty easy to do. It wasn't something that I sat there and struggled with for a long time. For the first maybe 3 days, I was really like, oh my God, I can't do it. I literally can't do it. And then it got better after that. So it was just that first initial 3 days. And then I was like, okay, I'm used to this now. I'm used to not eating till 12 and not having my coffee till 12. And I talked a bit about this in my last video, but I actually cut coffee. So I went from having maybe like 3 coffees a day to having decaf only, because I couldn't cut coffee completely. Like, are you crazy? And so I was like, I need to have the taste of coffee and just have that little like thing in the morning where I get my coffee. So I still had that, and I just turned it into decaf, and that was totally fine. But it helped me with waking up in the morning because I wasn't so tired, and I was able to just wake up and get out of bed and get ready to go. Whereas if I drink coffee, I can't wake up that easily the next day. I don't know why, but I'm just someone who automatically goes into adrenal fatigue, and then I'm just like, I can't wake up in the morning if I am drinking coffee. So cutting caffeine was a big one for me as well. As far as nutrition, that's pretty much all I did. I just kept it really simple meals, ketogenic diet, mixed with intermittent fasting, cutting out coffee, and then 5 days of exercise a week. And you know what I didn't do? Increase my water, which is like what everyone talks about. I'm someone who's so bad at drinking water that I completely forgot to drink water. I was like planning on doing it because like I always hear good things. But I just cannot remember to drink water. I don't know what it is. I actually love drinking water, but I forget to drink it all the time. So I probably was having about, I don't know, 1.5 liters a day, maybe 2 liters with all the teas that I was having, like just like herbal teas and stuff. So I probably was having water, but not like crazy amounts and not anything different to what I was having before. I also completely cut out sugar, alcohol, fruit, and carbs, obviously, because it's ketogenic. So all of that was cut from my diet. I didn't miss it. I wasn't someone who craved sugar that much anyway, so I replaced that with having like massive spoonfuls of peanut butter. That was the best. And I'd have probably that like once or twice a day, and that was my like little treat. So I feel like it's quite standard. I basically changed up my diet, cut all the sugar out of my diet, cut all the carbs out of my diet for 8 weeks, did 5 days of pretty intense exercise, but it was only 45 minutes a day, and the rest of the day I sit down at my job because I work at the office. And then I just pushed myself as far as I could go, and I didn't miss any days of the gym. I just kept going and didn't cheat on my diet. And I think that's something that's so important, is consistency. I've never been that consistent before, where I chose not to weigh myself. I just stuck at it and made sure that I trusted the process and did everything every day and didn't stop. I feel like it's really easy to look at your results day to day and then just go like, oh, I didn't lose weight on the scale. Oh no, like I'm gonna just like give up and stop. Or like, oh, I cheated on my diet, so then therefore I'll just eat bad the rest of the day, or like tomorrow's kind of ruined and then I'll start on Monday. What you have to do is just completely stay on track as best as you can, and if you cheat, the next thing that you put in your mouth has to be healthy and back on track. And if you constantly do that, even if it takes you like, you know, a month to get into the rhythm of it, you'll get there eventually. It just will take you a little bit more time if you are someone who's struggling with willpower and struggling with just saying no. You will get there eventually. Trust me, it'll happen. You just have to rein yourself back in and go like, okay, I had that one thing, the next thing that I put in my mouth has to be healthy, and I start again tomorrow. So let's talk about my progress and how I progressed from week to week. So I started off at 71.6 kilograms. I am 169 centimeters tall. Sorry if that's annoying for people in America, but that's our metric system and I don't know how to convert it at the top of my head into pounds and stuff. But this is my week 1. And then every week, I don't know how much weight I lost, don't know what my measurements were. I just took photos in the mirror and just tracked my progress like that. So I'll just keep inserting the photos of how many I've got. I think I've got about 6 over the whole 8 weeks. And you can just see slowly I'm just getting like a smaller version of myself each week. And that was really, really cool to see, to just sort of take photos and be like, oh yeah, like there is a difference. That's really cool. By the end of the challenge, I was 67.4 kilos. So I lost just over 3 kilos or 4. My maths. 4 kilos, just over 4 kilos. And I also put on a kilo of muscle, which I was kind of really surprised about because it's really hard to lose fat and gain muscle. I think it was just like that I'd never trained before, and so as soon as I started working my muscles, they actually did grow and I did lose fat. So I managed to put on a kilo of muscle and then lose just over 4 kilos of fat, and I can't highly recommend any more highly than what I have of F45. They are awesome. The trainers are amazing. If you've been thinking about trying it, I'd recommend that. It's so good, and I would not have continued if it wasn't for doing F45. 100%. It was just the perfect exercise to do to really just quickly kickstart my fitness journey. And it's now 7 months on or 8 months on, and I still go every single day. And it's so easy for me to go because I love it, and I love the people that I go there with, and I've got my boyfriend into it now, and it's just like, it's a really, really cool atmosphere. And I just think if you've been wanting to try it, definitely jump in and do it. And at the beginning of F45, they do a body scan, and then at the end they do a body scan as well. So you can see your biochemistry and your like muscle to fat ratio and how it changes throughout the process, throughout the 8 weeks. And mine was quite a big difference. I had gone from 30% body fat down to 24.9% body fat. There was a good difference there. And then my visceral fat came down. I think I started at about 7 or 8, and then I ended at 5. Visceral fat was something that I was a little bit concerned about. It should just be something that you're aware of in general. Even if you are quite slim, you can still have a high visceral fat. So it was really good to check that out for me. So yeah, even though the scale didn't change that much, my body shape and my legs slimmed down so much. I noticed such a huge difference in my leg shape, and my cellulite almost completely disappeared. Like, it was crazy because I've never been able to get rid of my cellulite. That has been something that I've always struggled with. So that's kind of like cool because it changed my whole perspective on weight loss, and that it isn't actually about the weight. And even though you hear that 50 million times a day, it's so true. And until you see it yourself, you're like, oh no, I don't believe it. I need to lose 10 kilos. But no, you do not. You absolutely do not. And if you put on muscle, then you don't need to lose the weight because muscle weighs more than fat. So I think that's just about covered everything to do with my initial 8-week fitness journey. If you have any other questions for me, leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely get back to you. If you want me to do anything else or cover anything else about that 8-week period, I'd be happy to do that. Just let me know what you want to see. And I do want to do another video of how I've maintained my results and even bettered my results and pushed past the plateau that is after you lose weight. I'd love to do a video on that and what I'm doing now. So if you want to see that, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below because I'll be releasing content every week. And I would love to know if any of you guys try this stuff. If it helps you in any way, I'd love to know, please. That would make me so happy. And I will catch you in my next video. Bye!